just a poll, sir.
True. Not a reassuring one.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the captivating tales from the semi-historical Netflix drama So Far that you won't find in your history books.
It's nonsense, it's fiction, it's fiction.
In some cases, while the event itself may have taken place, we have no proof of what happened behind palace gates. Number 10, the Kennedys' visit. It's true that after his election, John F. and Jackie Kennedy visited the Queen. However, the rivalry portrayed between the two women in The Crown seems exaggerated, possibly fueled by media speculation.
No, I liked her very much, and I've been all set to loathe her. But in the end, I was utterly charmed.
Reports suggest that the two influential figures actually found common ground and shared a warm relationship.
Really one of the great paradoxes of being in a position where I have to talk to a great many people. But deep down, I'm happiest with animals.
That makes two of us.
Still in the series, tensions rise when unkind remarks made by the First Lady reach the monarch. Although Jackie might have criticised the Queen and the palace in real life, her harsh words in the series likely only served to heighten the drama.
But in our head of state, we had a middle-aged woman, so incurious, unintelligent, and unremarkable.
There's also no reliable proof that their rivalry affected foreign policy or triggered the Queen's Ghana visit. As head of the Commonwealth, these trips are kind of in her job description. Number 9, Thatcher declares war while her son is missing. During an audience with the Queen, the Prime Minister crumbles the Iron Lady's composure, revealing her son has disappeared in the Sahara Desert.
Mark, a very special child. The kind of son any mother would dream of having, has gone missing.
The Crown implies that her maternal anxieties influenced her choice to go to war in the Falklands.
Our people, far from home, their lives are in danger, Charles. Our own. We must do something.
Although both events happened within the same year, there is nothing to suggest that they're linked in any way. In reality, the war began after Argentinian workers raised their flag, asserting the country's control over the Falklands. Britain responded by sending a naval fleet.
The flag was taken down, but HMS Endurance was then ordered to hold off. For Britain, the response to all these crises had been proportionate, but to the Argentinians, they appeared token at best.
The war ran on for 74 days, resulting in significant loss of life. It also doesn't seem to be true that Thatcher asked the Queen to dissolve Parliament when her leadership was challenged.
Technically, it is within your power to request this. But we must all ask ourselves when to exercise those things that are within our power and when not to.
Number 8, Philip probably didn't refuse to kneel. In the early seasons of The Crown, Prince Philip grapples with his role as a supporting figure to his wife.
You said you intended to refuse?
No, I merely asked the question whether it was right in this day and age that the Queen's consort, her husband, should kneel to her rather than stand beside her.
In this episode, which leads up to her 1953 coronation, he requests to do without the tradition of kneeling to the monarch. Of course, he's rejected, and his resentment at being made to do so is palpable.
Your wife is not asking you to.
But my Queen commands me.
Yes.
I beg you make an exception for me.
No.
While it certainly hypes up the drama, it's probably not true. Prince Philip knew what he signed up for when he married a future monarch. Also, coming from royalty, he would have been well aware of the importance placed on royal customs.
I, Philip, Duke of Edinburgh, to become your liege man of life and limb and of earthly worship. In faith and truth I will bear unto you.
We doubt he would have disrespected his wife at such a monumental moment in her life. Number 7, senior royals breaking up Prince Charles and Camilla. In season 3, Lord Mountbatten and the Queen Mother plot to break up young lovebirds Prince Charles and Camilla Shand.
Well, I can take care of Charles. Nice long posting overseas will bring him to his senses. I'll speak to everyone at the Admiralty. 8 months on the other side of the world, it'll soon go away.
While it's seemingly true that the royal family disapproved of the match because, and we hope you're wearing pearls, because you're going to want to clutch them, she was a commoner with a dating history. Still, there's no solid evidence of any interference.
You're probably wondering why I've invited you all here this afternoon. It's a slightly delicate matter.
something of an imbroglio involving your son, Derek, your daughter, Mrs. Strand, and my grandson.
It seems that Prince Charles simply wasn't ready for marriage, while Camilla was still with her off-again, on-again partner, Andrew Parker Bowles, who she'd go on to marry. Incidentally, Princess Anne also dated Mr. Parker Bowles, just not during the time frame the series suggests. It does make good television though, doesn't it?
It's all very straightforward. He got what he wanted, which was to make Camilla jealous. I got what I wanted, which was a bit of fun. Fun? Yes, sorry, Mummy, it was.
Number 6. The Queen's meeting with Lord Altrincham. Season 2 introduces Lord Altrincham, aka John Grigg, a journalist who criticises the royal family for being out of touch and targets the Queen's way of speaking.
She has to be ordinary and extraordinary, touched by divinity and yet one of us. But being ordinary doesn't have to mean bland, or ineffectual, or forgettable.
The real Altrincham's opinions were divisive, and indeed earned him a slap in the face. While much of his story can be accounted for, one part remains a mystery: his meeting with the Queen. We have no way of knowing if such a meeting occurred. Of course, in the episode, Altrincham is sworn to secrecy, so perhaps the Crown's creative team knows something the rest of us don't, although we doubt it.
Charteris then went on to tell me that no one can ever know that I met the Queen, and that should I ever claim that I did, the palace would robustly deny it.
During the episode's conclusion, we're informed that the monarchy credits his role in helping modernise the institution. Number 5. Princess Margaret objects to Prince Charles and Diana's wedding. It's true that Prince Charles met Diana while dating her sister, but the scenario and tree costume were just a creative decision by the show's writers to highlight her love for performing arts.
We're doing a Midsummer Night's Dream at school.
I love Midsummer Night's Dream.
So do I. All the characters have such wonderful names.
After spending some time together, the pair got engaged. But during the rehearsal, Princess Margaret spots a look on her nephew's face that brings old feelings bubbling to the surface. Later, she implores her family to learn from past mistakes, but her pleas fall upon deaf ears.
How many times can this family make the same mistake? Forbidding marriages should be allowed.
If anyone were going to try to call off the wedding, we'd say the real Princess Margaret probably has the most grounds to do so. However, actress Helena Bonham Carter takes credit for this scene's inclusion.
For them, as human beings, we have to stop them now.
Number 4. Queen Mary didn't influence the Romanovs' fate. This Season 5 episode explored the fascinating links between the British royals and Russia's last imperial family. We learn that Parliament reached out to King George V, offering to help his relative, Tsar Nicholas II, and his family escape from Russian Revolution.
The government is willing to send a ship to bring the Romanovs to safety here in England. The Prime Minister does not wish to do so without your support.
In the series, he consults with his wife, Queen Mary, who ultimately seals the Romanovs' fate.
What say you, my lord? Do we send the ship?
No. Historian Dr. Helen Rappaport explains that King George initially supported granting his cousins asylum, but soon changed his mind due to the wartime political climate and fears of civil upheaval in Britain. Britain wasn't the only country that refused asylum over political reasons either. Ultimately, these decisions, not Queen Mary, delivered the family's coup de grace.
Truth is, Queen Mary
We have received news from Russia.
was devastated when she heard they'd been killed.
Majesty the Tsar is dead.
Number 3. Venetia Scott's tragic ending. This Season 1 episode takes place during the Great Smog of London in 1952.
A thick, cold fog had settled over the city 4 days earlier, trapping dirty smoke from the coal fires most residents relied on for warmth.
The episode depicts absolute chaos descending on the city, but that simply wasn't the case. Firstly, Londoners were used to fogs, albeit few as intense as this one, and also, it's particularly in the British DNA to keep calm and carry on. It also reportedly wasn't as politically charged as it's made out to be.
Winston, people are angry. They see us as the culprits.
Culpable for what? It's fog. Fog is fog. It comes,
And it goes away.
Anyway, with such limited visibility, public transport, bar the London Underground, was halted. This episode also shone greater light on Churchill's secretary, Venetia Scott, a fictional addition to his staff. Audiences grew rather fond of her, so we were devastated when she became one of the fog's casualties.
But alongside the suffering, I've also seen heroism. And where there is heroism, there will always be hope.
Number 2, the Queen chats with her intruder. Incredibly, the Queen's intruder, Michael Fagan, managed to breach security not once, but twice, even making it to the Queen's private quarters the second time.
Save us all from her.
Who?
Thatcher. She's destroying the country. We've got more than 3 million unemployed. That's more than at any time since the Great Depression.
While some aspects of the story are rooted in reality, conflicting accounts of the details left the writers relying on creative license to bridge the gaps. Reportedly, it took a while for someone to come to the Queen's rescue, and apparently, she tried to stall until help arrived.
Well, the state can help with all of this.
What state? The state has gone. She's dismantled it, along with all the other things we thought we could depend on growing up.
But come on. As if the Queen was really going to sit around chatting with a man who'd just broken into her bedroom. Instead, it seems like the writers used this event to highlight the growing class divisions and unrest in Britain during that period.
Goodbye.
Don't touch her.
It's all right. I shall bear in mind what you've said.
Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honourable mentions. Diana didn't give the Queen a heads up about her Panorama interview. The palace might have been warned, but not likely by a conversation between Diana and the Queen.
Rather frank interview to the BBC, which will go out on Monday the 20th.
Why?
I felt the need to clear a few things up.
John Major didn't get involved in the Wells' divorce. Yeah, marriage counselling isn't really under the Prime Minister's jurisdiction.
I know as Prime Minister you are the busiest man in England, but might you consider it? To act on our behalf? As an intermediary?
Princess Margaret didn't discover her cousins, the Bowes-Lyons. Their story was actually uncovered by the press, and the royal family declined to comment.
That's when she told me about our cousins. Our first cousins, Catherine and Larissa Bowes-Lyon. Third and fifth daughters, Mummy's favourite elder brother.
The Guardian interview with Princess Alice, that never happened. We imagine that this was a plot device to share her incredible story.
Princess Alice is that rarest of creatures, a member of a royal family that has suffered more than the rest of us, worked harder than the rest of us, and created more good than the rest of us.
Princess Margaret's role in improving US-UK ties. Let's just say she wasn't the big hit The Crown makes her out to be.
She finally staggered home at 4 a.m, newly Anglophile President Johnson having agreed to the bailout. The special relationship more special than ever.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1, Prince Charles conspires to overthrow the Queen. Most The Crown fans acknowledge the blurred reality in Peter Morgan's royal adaptation, yet one plot point remains notably contentious.
Just a poll, sir. True. Not a reassuring one.
Polls come and go.
Dangerous to ignore them.
Equally dangerous to be guided by them.
In response to a public poll in the Sunday Times, Prince Charles tries to persuade PM John Major to support his plan for his mother's abdication.
John is a man of great rectitude, and he would not have been a party to what he would have regarded actually as a treasonous discussion.
The real Major criticised the show via a spokesperson, calling it a barrel load of malicious nonsense, seemingly advising viewers not to believe everything they see. In the season finale, Charles attempts to bring new PM Tony Blair on his side too. Like Major, Blair dismissed the story as complete and utter rubbish. The Crown defended itself as a fictionalised dramatisation, imagining behind-the-scenes scenarios. Despite this, the controversy continues, raising doubts about the show's historical interpretation. Which chapter from The Crown's history were you most surprised to learn is untrue? Let us know in the comments.
It was pretty gobsmacking what he was doing.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.